What happened is, like you mentioned, there was a lot of these stupid towers that were built and other stuff like this. Now, this moves the economy. It creates jobs, it creates taxes, it made the government bigger, it did all that stuff. So the GDP per capita increased in those days to a level that's very high. In other words, our imports increased. So what we did is we assumed that the money that came in 2008, 9, 10 would continue to come in ad infinitum. So come 2010, it actually stopped. It went back to the old levels. So at that point in time, because our per capita GDP is so high and our import level, that's when the deficit became high. So there are factors like you're mentioning that reduce the money coming in. But the main factor is the fact that our standard of living demanded more spending of dollars. I'll give you an example. So when you talk about tourism, the last few years before the crisis, tourism into Lebanon, if you look at tourism into Lebanon and then Lebanese tourism out of Lebanon, it was equal to almost about the same amount as tourists in the countries. In other words, it canceled each other out almost. There was tourists into country was slightly more. Why? Because it was cheaper for an average Lebanese making a lira subsidized salary at 1,500 to fly to Turkey or France or Bulgaria. And you could see this from all your friends with the Instagram photos in Mykonos and Boardroom and all these places 3-4 times a year. This was all taking dollars out of the country. So it canceled out the dollars that were coming in. The other one is, one of my favorite, is the foreign workers, domestic helpers, Syrian workers, Egyptians, blah, blah, blah. This money, and remittances were, say, at the high, $7, maybe $8 billion. 57% of that money went right out because of these foreign workers. 57%. In other words, the typical Lebanese guy sending money to his mom and dad was basically paying for 57% of the maid. So, he might as well have sent the money right back to the Philippines. And, it's the guys in Dubai sending it here. Just send it to the Philippines. Don't even bother sending it. So this was the main issue. So all this other stuff you're talking about, the Syrian war, geopolitics, sure, they were factors, but it didn't change the fact that the crux of the whole thing was a Ponzi scheme and an unsustainable way of life.